All right, we're back. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Livestock Winter Prep podcast number 2 with myself, Ginger at Not for Nothing Homestead, and my co-pilot, oops, wrong way, Dale at 9 Acre Family Farms.
Well, hello there.
How are you
How
doing
are
this
you?
evening, Dale?
I'm doing great. How about you, Ginger?
I'm good. I'm good. It's the temperature is it got really nice and warm today, as we were both saying earlier backstage before we started recording.
Yeah,
And but now here it's dropping down. It's not
and
dropping
he,
down for you.
and here it's not. It's warmish.
Oh,
Like
I'm so sorry.
the house is like getting up into the close to 80 degrees. So,
No way.
yeah.
Wow. That is nuts. Well, so I guess this week we're going to go over because we both had a cold snap.
We
Um,
did.
I think it hit you first, didn't it? It hit you and then it
It
came
did
over.
hit me first and then it hit you. And
So remind
so
everybody where you're from, where you're at.
I'm in Southeast Kansas, of course, and you're in,
I'm in North Georgia.
you bet.
Yeah.
So geographically, we're kind of on the same plane. You're a
Hmm.
little bit south of me,
Yeah.
but what is it? Longitudinal or whatever. We're kind of the same. Um,
Yes. We're like
but
parallel from each other.
parallel. We're on the parallel.
We're
But
on the parallel.
we so yeah, we got down into the one morning it was like 17 degrees here. That was pretty
Yeah.
cold.
And that's
Pretty cold.
normal for you, right? I mean, you're accustomed to that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It's not out of the ordinary for us to get, sub 20. Um, Anywhere from
Yeah.
0 to 20 come winter weather. And that gets a little bit nervous, of course, when you start having livestock on the homestead.
Yes. Ah,
Uh,
gosh, does it ever? I mean, it is a sleepless night.
it
I,
is.
I'm not kidding because you're, again, like we said last time, that animal is dependent solely on you for
Yes.
everything. So you really do everything that you can to
It
provide
truly
for
is
them.
like having a toddler
Yes.
all the time. The only
Yes.
difference is a toddler that could run over you, could, you know, put away 100 pounds of corn overnight and,
Yes. Yes.
could go disrupt the neighbor to the point of them, taking legal action
Not
against you.
not being a nice neighbor anymore. Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't wanna do that because 'cause they're trying to, find something somewhere warm, to be somewhere warmer than where they are if you have not provided them adequate shelter,
Yeah.
in this instance for the cold. So, yeah, so Dell and I both have pigs. Dell has 7, and I
Yep.
have 3, and
I
then
got.
Dell and I both have chickens. And how many chickens do you have now?
We've trimmed down our flock quite a bit, so we're down to the. I'm gonna say just over 20 right now, 20 or 25. We've
Trimmed
got
down.
some.
Jeez.
We've got some rogue chickens that are feral. We
Oh,
had we had free range chickens that hatched out in our pastures.
oh, okay.
So, like, sometimes you throw out scratch and
Yes.
it's just like, where are these chickens coming from? Like, they just come
Yeah.
out of nowhere. And you're like, I've never even seen that black and white. Where'd that chicken come from? You know?
Yes. Every stray cat in the neighborhood shows up at your doorstep wanting some
It,
scratch.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Oh my
so,
gosh.
with your pigs, how'd you get along in this cold snap at Not for Nothing Homestead?
We did pretty good. Now it was a night of supposed to be a night of 3, turned into a night of 4, 4 nights in a row where we were below freezing. Um, it was supposed to be the first night was supposed to be the coldest, and
Yeah.
um it got down to about 32, 31, 32. The second night, however, the first night, the saving grace for a lot of the gardens and things, because we both have gardens as well.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. The gardens and things, was that there was a wind blowing. So the frost didn't have time to settle on anything, including the animals' noses or feet or anything like
Exactly.
that. And, I noticed that the bowls, night one, when I went to go see like the chickens water, the bowl
Yeah.
was fine. And that was supposed to be the coldest night. And so I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So, the next 2 nights, which again turned into 3, the next 2 nights are gonna be a breeze, compared to what I've felt tonight. Still, it's a sleepless night. I mean, I was out there the first night at midnight making sure that the water was still flowing well for everybody. I mean, I was down there with a flashlight and I walked in and all the chickens are I have like 2 different roosts. They're all
Yeah.
looking at me like, what are you doing in here?
What are you doing here, Mama?
It's a little late for you, isn't it, lady? You're usually in bed. And I was like, I want to make sure you're all okay. And I had put down extra straw. I mean, I went and got 2 extra bales, and I wasn't the only one at the feed store that was doing that.
Oh
So,
yeah. I mean,
um,
that's the feed store becomes very busy when it
yeah,
is cold weather time.
yeah. When you know it's coming, yeah, you see a mad rush. It's like everybody that's going to, Lowe's to exchange a propane tank or Walmart or
Oh
something like
yeah.
that. The feed store hay line and straw line becomes one of the big lines to
It's
wait
like
on stuff.
for when cold weather comes in, for those who don't have a homestead, it's like the toilet paper and the bread line at the
Yeah.
grocery store. Like
Why
there's
is it?
nothing left.
Okay, you got to riddle me this, okay? Why is it that when there is I used to work at a grocery store. So why is it when there is a snowstorm coming, people wipe out the potatoes and the milk and the bread? What are you
I don't
making with those
know.
3 things? I want to know.
I'm the same way. I mean, it would make more sense. Okay, the milk I can follow.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess. I guess.
it it would make more sense if they got flour. You
Yes.
know, you can
I'm
make
gonna
your
be
own bread.
Yeah, I can
You
I'm gonna
know,
be stuck at home, so let me get flour and yeast
hey,
and,
this was cool.
uh
Let's like, there's snow and
yeah,
ice. I can't go anywhere. Let's have a
yeah,
bread making party.
yes,
That's what we
exactly.
do when
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
treacherous weather. We go out. We take care of our livestock. There's nothing more we can do there. We come
Mhm.
inside and Dale puts on a chef hat and we start experimenting and cooking. I mean,
Yeah,
what other
there
way
you
to keep
go.
warm other than fire up the stove and let's make something?
Oh my gosh, and the oven to boot, yes, there's nothing
Yeah.
better on a cold morning than to smell either a fresh cooked pancake or a fresh cooked biscuit.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Biscuits,
either one
gravy,
of those, yes.
sausage. Oh yeah.
Yep, reminds
But
me of when I grew up in Virginia. Yep, grandma used to make it every morning. But anyways, we're like having a squirrel moment here again,
it's
which we
okay.
do quite often.
So,
But
you know, that 32 degrees, you never had a cease of your waterer with the pigs, right?
nope.
Like they could still drink.
Yes, they were still drinking.
Um,
The next morning I got up and everybody was still slurping and they were they had burrowed down in the hay so far that when I went down there, Daisy is notorious for doing that. She will burrow down and she'll hear me coming. And pigs must have excellent hearing,
They got
but
excellent hearing. Yep.
she
Excellent
was
smeller, of
she was
course.
she hears me coming and she pops and runs. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
whoa, what's coming out at me there? She's funny, but they were so happy to see me and they were so happy to see the sunshine. I
Oh
mean, the
yeah.
sun, they get the east sun first thing in the morning. And you should have seen them out there basking in the sun, laying in the straw. It was so cute.
So
Oh, it was
I
so
I had some not good hay left over. I mean, it
uh-huh.
was a couple-year-old grass hay.
Yeah.
Um, and so I put it out for mine.
Uh-huh.
Of course, they ate half of it.
Yeah, of course. You said, wait, you're supposed to cover up with that.
I don't know, for people that think that pigs don't eat grass and hay,
Yeah.
you're kidding yourself because they love
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
I threw it in there, and my 7 domestic terrorists were like, "Thanks, Dad.
And
This is
yeah.
a great snack." And I mean, they were all just going to town.
Oh my
But
gosh, that's so
so
funny.
I made sure I put enough in there that they could have bedding, and
Yes.
kind of the same way I stuck my head in, except for I did it, you know, um, I stuck my head in there at like 5 o'clock when we got up, and
Yeah.
around. I just walked out, check on things, and it was the same way. Of course, I'm using a flashlight just like you were, and I look in and I just see all these little noses,
That's-
and all of a sudden it was like, wait, Dad's here, and we
yeah.
had not set up our water tank yet, so we were watering in bowls, like
Okay.
pans, and
Yes.
they thought I was
Not
coming to
stainless
water 'em.
steel. Not
Nope,
stainless
rubber,
steel. Yes,
rubber.
rubber pans.
So they thought I was coming to water them, which I did.
Yes.
But they all jumped up and they all run to the water bowls and they're like, "Okay, I'm ready." You know. So I watered everybody. So we didn't have too much of a problem. I know for us here at the 9, when it gets down to 32, yes, that's freezing. But when it comes to most of our livestock watering apparatuses, like your barrel, I'm
Hmm.
not too worried at 32.
Yeah.
What will freeze will be so
Oh, sorry.
small and light that it will be um, small enough that they can normally break that crust, or they could,
Yes.
and they could still get water. It'll just be a skim on the top. It would take
Hmm.
several days at 32 to get
Yeah.
us to the point that it will freeze hard enough that they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 32 at day and night, like Lisa just said.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Straight across the board.
Consistently.
No ups and downs. Like jumping up to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
50 during the day, you got to remember it takes that water several hours to get down to 32.
Yeah.
When you're talking about that much volume. Now,
Yes.
I just set up our big IBC tote waterer, and
Nice.
kind of the same way. We're dealing with 150 plus gallon of water.
Mm,
Um, Now, the biggest problem I have with freezing at the very first, when it gets to inclement weather, of course, is that pig nipple, that
yes.
stainless steel nipple sticking out there, exposed to the air.
And
That's where I've
I
got to worry
asked
about.
Dale when when Joey installed the one that we got. I asked Dale the other day because we have one of those because Dale had suggested it. Sorry, I'm not phrasing this right now.
No, you are.
And I asked Dale, I was like, okay, so are one of the pigs going to end up like the little kid on A Christmas Story where they get stuck to the the metal pole if they go and it's already frozen and what did you say, Dale?
No, It's
That's
not going
not
to happen.
going to
You're
happen.
not going to have to go out there and grab a hold of Daisy's ears and pull her off like Dumb and Dumber.
Because you know it's going to be her.
Oh yeah.
She gets,
Isn't it funny how we have that? We all have that
that
one
one.
that is just like cannot keep out of trouble.
I
Like
know. And
we
it's
have
her.
one that we were filling our pans up before we switched to the the full water tank. We were
Yes.
filling those pans up with a sprayer nozzle on a hose.
Yeah.
And we have this one that decided, oh, water comes from that spigot that's in their hand, and would sit there on its hind legs and try to bite the nozzle. And of course, the nozzle's up here and your
Yeah.
hand's here. So where do you think that they would nip at?
Your hand
Your
first.
hand.
Yes. Yes. Oh my
And
gosh.
the
That's
first
too
couple
funny.
times that a sub 50-pound pig does that, you're gonna go, oh, that was cute.
Yes.
But now make that pig a 90 to 100-pounder, and they do that, and you're like, that really hurt, dude.
Yeah,
Don't be doing that no more.
it's not funny anymore.
It's not
Mommy
funny.
doesn't think it's cute.
No. So they now have graduated from the barn out to the lots, and
Oh, really? You've moved them
oh yeah,
out, huh?
that
Yeah.
same that same that same pig that she's ornery,
Yes.
she's the one that goes to every fence, and she's the one that has her head stuck through the fence. She's
Oh.
the one that's climbed up on the fence. She's the one that's, oh, my buddy's laying over there minding its own business asleep, and walks across the pen just to root him in the side and wake him up.
Yes. Wow. That's the one that's going to get her butt kicked at recess a lot.
I'm going to name
Okay.
her Lucy. She's Lucy from the
Lucy.
Charlie Brown.
Yes.
She's the one that pulls the football out from all the rest of them, stuff like that.
That's it. You little troublemaker, you.
Exactly.
I don't think Daisy intentionally does all these things. But yeah, poor girl, she has been the one that trouble has landed on her head. So she's not intentionally going after anybody. Now, Link, on the other hand, yes, he will go over and poke the bear, which would be
Yep.
Wilbur. Yeah. And let me tell you something. He's regretted that decision a couple of times. I can hear him out there. But Daisy just seems to fall into trouble. She never does it intentionally. It's not anything that she's trying to do, but the poor thing, it just always seems to be her. But
yeah, and it always seems to be there's always that one.
Yeah,
for us, there's always
yeah.
that one.
That is so funny. So they can't get through. You've graduated them from the smaller fencing and inside the barn to now they're in the pig pen.
Yeah,
So
they're actually out in the pen.
They can't get their head through there. Okay, that's good.
No, they could get their little nose.
Yeah.
But when it gets to their ears, that's too small for them, which is perfect with me. If they can trim the outside of the fence, I'm good with it.
Yes.
I just don't want you going through the fence and ending up in the road or at the neighbor's house. So
yes, or getting stuck in the fence,
which happens.
And I don't know, we may save that for the next podcast, and
I think
what happens and what I had to do and then who I called. I know you all know who I called. That's no secret.
I don't know who you called.
I called Nana. No, I'm kidding. I called Dale. I called Dale. But so we had 4 nights of it. How many nights did you have?
We had 3 nights that were pretty cold.
3. Yeah.
4 days total. So
was your first one the worst?
No, the second one was the worst.
See, the stinking weathermen, they lie every time. They
Yeah.
lie like sheep rugs.
I can tell you this though, man, it kind of makes you move with urgency around your homestead.
It sure
It kind of
does.
reminds you that and of course, uh everything else starts playing into factor. So like chickens, a lot of people worry about their chicken waterers. We're kind
Mhm.
of the same way. We use automatic waterers for the ones that are in the coop. And
Yeah.
once it gets, so again, 32 degrees with a 40 to 50 degree at the hottest part in the day, we don't get too nervous about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Continual 17 at night and never get over 32 in the day, we start dumping automatic waterers and we go to rubber pans
Yeah.
and water in the morning and water at night.
Yeah.
Thankfully, a chicken doesn't require a lot of water. A
Yes.
laying,
Not in the wintertime. In the
not in
summertime,
the wintertime.
whoo,
Summertime, I agree. Everything requires a lot of water in the summer.
I had a lot of pans I had those reserve trays that you grow, that you put under your trays where you start new starts. And then you
Yep,
have like a solid one tray with holes and one tray is solid. I had those
yep.
and I was filling in them up during the day so they could go in there and stand. And yeah,
Oh, yours would actually stand in the water.
oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
they
don't let
just
them.
they wanted I had like 2 and 3 of them set up, and you could just see the relief in their face, and, of course, now that's gone because they don't need that now, they would be a frozen block, so
Yeah,
that would be
exactly.
good.
Yeah. So we
So
were going to talk about expenses also, right?
oh,
Um,
yes.
so what
Yeah.
was the hay price and straw price for you
So,
for
hay is
straw?
$10 a bale, a square bale. Yeah.
And that's pretty much countrywide because that's not too far off from where it is here.
Is it?
If you buy it at like a feed supply store or something like that. If you
Yeah.
can find a farmer to buy directly from, um, you may be able to get $1 or two,
Off.
less.
Yeah.
Um, but for the most part, that's pretty close to what I'm hearing also. What
Yeah.
about straw?
Now,
What was
straw, I was not, I'll be honest with you, I was not paying attention when I bought it because I bought it with 3 other bags of feed. So, and I had to have it. So I was just like, here's my card. And they're like, do you need a receipt? And I'm like, nah, save the paper. So the straw, I'm not sure of, but hopefully, I will know for next time. So
they
I
were
can give you a better
getting
idea of what that
I
is.
I seen straw at $6.99 a bale at
Really?
our local store, and actually, to me, I kind of thought
And
that
that's a
may be on the
square
cheap
bale?
side. That was for a square bale.
Yeah, that is on the cheap side.
I thought that was probably on the cheap side.
Yeah,
Um, Now, of course, we are in the heart of wheat country here,
yeah, so that
so
might
there's lots of wheat straw available. Um,
mhm,
those that bale it, they're becoming fewer and fewer that will
mm,
do small square bales, but
yeah,
uh, it is so beneficial for your livestock, especially
yes,
bedding wise.
yes, and
And
from everything that I've read, um, for the most part, the straw holds up better than the hay does, so that is why I bought, straw for the chickens, and I'm gonna tell you, it is going a lot further than the hay
yeah,
did.
uh, smell will be less, the
Oh, yes. Oh,
breakdown of it,
yes.
you know,
Smell is
your moisture
much better.
content, the moisture content, of course, in the hay is more than what it is in the straw. You've
Mhm.
got more surface area in that straw.
Yeah.
Um, Now, a lot of people fall into the myth of, well, you know, they don't have straw, so I'm going to use wood shavings
Mhm.
for cold weather bedding.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to say that shavings don't make good bedding. We use shavings in our chicken coops extensively.
Yeah.
Um, it makes great bedding for absorption of stuff. It smells better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, of by stuff, I think everyone knows what I mean.
Yes.
Things that are processed food and
Yes.
water.
Yes. But now
Now,
you're talking about thinly shaving, or are you talking about the thicker
we
shaved?
use large flake, so the
Okay.
big flakes. Um,
Okay.
Now we have in the past got a bag of the really fine, like curly Q shaving,
Yes. Yes.
and we'll use that in nest box.
Yeah. Okay.
Hens just seem to like it in nest boxes.
Yes.
Um, but the big, large flake is what we're after. It does a
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
Now, in the pigs, are for the larger livestock, same way. It works really good for absorption to keep that moisture away, to maybe
Mhm.
help keep that, you know, keep it sanitary.
Yeah.
But heat wise, you're not really helping them.
No.
I mean, it
Because
would
one
take
sit
a
on it and they're smushed it. Yeah.
it would take an extremely large amount for, say, said piggies, like we've been
Mhm.
talking about, to
Yes.
dig in enough and give themselves enough cover to
Mhm.
keep themselves warm, where that
Yeah.
straw is such a better alternative.
Yeah. They've done I just can't say enough about the straw, and I'll tell you, I put some down there where the pigs are too, and it is really, standing up to them as well. I mean, they're big, so they're not little ones like yours, but still, I mean, I've still by this time, if it was hay, it would have been matted down almost into the clay soil, rocky soil that we have, and
Yep.
it's still got a good bit of fluff to it. I can
And
still see
actually,
Daisy
you know,
nestling down in there, so I know it's got some fluff to it still.
and let's be honest, what you're doing by putting that hay and that straw down in your sacrifice pen, let's call
Yeah.
it, where you have your pigs, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because you sacrificed that piece of ground out of your homestead that
Mhm.
you just said is high in clay, high in rocks. So
Mhm.
let's take those pigs, let's take that hay and straw, let's continuously keep putting it in the pen with them. What are we building? We're building a composting on a large scale, right? So
Yes.
so instead of what people think that it's going to do to the ground by putting those pigs there, we're going to tear that ground down. Instead, we're going to
Mhm.
start building organic material up on that ground, and
Yes.
actually turns into building better ground there.
Yes,
Um,
and, you got a surprise last year, didn't you? After your pigs had been moved out of one pen for quite some time, you and Nana went out there. You wanna tell everybody what you guys saw?
so
As
we
you said, call I'll be dang, guess what's growing out of the middle of the pig pen? Go ahead.
so we had a pen that was pretty much rock. I mean, that's all it is. It's rock. It's very
Mhm.
little soil. Um, that's kind of why we made the pen right there. You
Yeah,
know, it's
that's
just
what it's good for.
that's what it's good for. So
Mhm.
we used it. That's like the pen that they start off in when we very first got pigs, to make them
Yeah.
understand these are fences. You don't get out of those. Uh,
Yes.
Mr. Dale brings you feed, and
And
this is
water.
your water,
Mhm.
and we leave them there for a few weeks, and then they get moved to another place. And
Mhm.
then, like the last month or so, that they're here before they go to freezer camp,
Yeah.
that's where they hang out.
Yeah.
Well, last year in that month or so, of course, that was right there around this time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving, 1st of November.
Yes, it was.
So
It was.
what do we have a whole lot of? Like everyone has one on their front porch, right? Jack-o'-lanterns and
Mm-hmm.
pumpkins. They use them to
Just
decorate and
carved
everything.
them. Yes.
This is the dump house for it.
So I let it be known on my social media that our piggies would love to take care of your jack-o'-lanterns for you and your
Oh,
pumpkins,
I never thought
because
about that. I should have done
pumpkins pumpkins are natural dewormers.
that. Mm-hmm.
They have good feed value, relative feed value.
Yes. Yes.
So we just start throwing said pumpkins in pens with pigs, and the
Oh,
pigs get zoomies and they
no.
love them. They're like, Dad brought us a cupcake,
Yes,
yay! And they're just like, and
exactly.
they you throw it hard enough that it breaks apart, and they'll get a piece. And if there's more in there with them, they'll chase each other all over trying to get that piece.
Oh, wow.
It's
That's
it's
funny.
it's if nothing else, the entertainment value of it on the
Yes.
homestead is
Yes.
like awesome. But
Yes.
so we did that. Of course, those that weren't jack-o'-lanterns were whole squash or pumpkins, and they
Yes.
had what in them? Seeds. Well, guess what
Seeds.
happened about midsummer here? I go walking by that pen. I hadn't put anything in there yet, and I went, "That's a crazy looking little vine that's grew in
Yeah.
there." It
That's
was a
not a
pumpkin
weed.
vine,
That's so crazy.
and we got pumpkins.
Did you?
So so the same pigs, now the new ones, when they got back in that pen, there was already self-made feed in there. Now the
Yeah.
only problem was they were only like this big because of the frost got to them before they got
Yeah.
a chance to mature. But
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to tell you, the domestic terrorist, they still loved every bit of that.
I bet they did. I bet they said, "Oh my gosh, this is a welcome to your new pen. I love this. we have we have room service. Look, it's
Yeah,
already here. The
every
concierge has been here."
buttonweed, every blade of grass,
Oh wow.
every bit of ragweed that was dried up in there, every crunchy leaf. Like, you turn those little domestic terrorists in there, and they're like little Hoover vacuums. They're just like,
Oh, they are.
oh,
They
they're
are.
everywhere.
And they will
But
have that place tore down to nothing but dirt inside of a week, especially
exactly.
when you have 7 of them.
Well, yeah. And so you're stumbling across a really good subject that I don't know if we have time to talk about today, but that's if you're feeding them on pasture. Of
Mhm.
how do I know when to move them to the next pasture?
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I guess
But
we'll have to cover that maybe on the next one. And
yep.
we'll also say what else happened because the first night was not the worst night for either one of us. And the next night was really bad. And we got down to like 26. I mean, and you
Oh,
think, 32, 33, 26 is not that bad when you're talking about water and you're talking about animals and warmth and all of that. Yeah, that
you start getting worried.
that little bit of a degree shift because you're now below freezing for at least 6 hours throughout the night, starting in the early morning hours. Yeah, it's a little bit, you worry. You're a parent of a toddler or two.
You're
You
supposed to
worry.
be worried. I mean, we are
Yes.
stewards. God has given us these creatures for us to take care of. And
Yes.
as a steader, whether we are a homesteader or an urban steader or a
Yeah.
suburban steader,
Yes.
it is our piece of this world that we are to take care of. And
Yeah.
we are the caretaker of those animals. Now,
Hmm.
you know, people want to get lost in the weeds about, oh, is it right that we turn those into food or not. It doesn't. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. We are to be good caretakers and animal stewards,
Yes.
no matter what side of that fence you're on. And
Right.
us making sure that they're warm, they're fed, and they got water
Yeah.
is like the bare minimum.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yeah. Entertainment. Yeah, we'll talk about entertainment too. Those things that Dale says, "Hey, go build this. They'll love it." And he's right. He's right. So anyway, so I guess we'll close this one for now.
Yep.
And then we'll see you guys back on next week's podcast, where we'll cover, what are we covering? When to move them to the next pasture.
We'll cover when to move them. We'll get more in depth into that expense side, especially when it comes to feed and
Yes. And then
uh,
also let you know what happened the other 2 nights of
the other 2 nights. We'll start off with that.
Yes, we'll start off with that. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Dale. This has been fun.
It
Again.
is.
Yes. So what was it that you said last time when we ended? I can't remember what you said. It was a
I don't
really
remember.
it was a really great way to end the show. And I was like, wow, that needs to be, you know how you have your farm on, keep strong, God loves you, and so do we. Um, I think it was go forward and grow your homestead. I think that's what you said. Go grow your homestead.
Go
So
grow your homestead. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yep.
how we'll end it. How's that sound?
That
Okay,
sounds great.
everybody, go grow
And
your
remember, this is being not only broadcast on the current channel that you are listening to or watching, it's
Yes,
also on the other one. So if you're on 9 acres,
yes,
you can go check out Not for Nothing, and vice versa.
yeah.
If you're on Not for Nothing Homestead, come on
Go
over and
over
visit
to
us at 9 acres.
9 acres. Oh yes, absolutely. You're gonna gain a lot of knowledge. You really
You
are.
bet.
You need to go see the Dale Man for sure.
No, you need to go see Ginger.
Yeah, well, I have my moments, but they're not as many as yours. So, but equally, we
mainly,
equally
mainly
have
you
things
can
to
see how to
offer.
dorky dance if you come to mine.
Yeah. Oh, no. Everybody needs that skill, Dale.
That's right.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week on our next podcast. So go ahead, Dale. Tell them. Go.
So move forward and grow your homestead.
Nice. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, ya.
What did I just do? Hold on. Okay, there we go.